Hi, everybody. Jim Ostrowski with the Night Owl version of the Liberty Moving podcast. I know most of my people are straight arrows are in bed by now, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like going to bed. I feel like I needed some more exercise today. I did do one long walk with a couple of live streams, but it's kind of cooped up in the house, so excess energy. Also, it should be fun. Also, I'm trying to play around with streaming on multiple platforms. I did a little poll on Facebook, and everybody said do add Rumble. A lot of people said add Rumble, so it took me about an hour. It's like the people who design software in this world. I know they make like $1 million a year. Could you be a little better at your job? I don't have time to fuck around with programming crap. So, but finally, so here's the thing. Here's the conundrum with Rumble. It's like I've never even been on Rumble. So if I'm live streaming on Rumble, am I actually live streaming on Rumble? Does anybody, if a, you know, if a, what's the expression? If a bear craps in the woods and nobody smells it, whatever. Uh, so anybody who's on Rumble who could possibly detect my live stream on Rumble, can you please confirm that I'm doing it? So I'm in North Buffalo. For those who don't know me, I'm actually on Hurdle Avenue, and let's see, how do I turn this camera around if I wanted to prove it? See, I'm on Restream. There's also StreamYard, but I don't know. I find that Restream's a little easier to use. Uh, there's actually multiple platforms, but it's like I don't have a staff person to figure this shit out. I'm not exactly stupid when it comes to the computers because I've been on computers since 1983. I was actually on an early version of the internet in '83, but it's a pain in the ass to when I'm busy. I've got legal work to do. I've got all sorts of work to do, housework to do, filing to do, going through 50 years of files. But so I have six platforms, uh, and I can add two more. But seriously, it's like I don't even know how to turn this camera around. But so I'll use my selfie stick so you can see that I actually am in. That's St. Margaret's Church over there, and I actually am on Hurdle Avenue in North Buffalo. And the reason I point this out is that every time I haven't done the hurdle walk in a while. It's funny because anyone interested in the net can't even easy for me to say in the natural history of the Liberty Moving podcast. It actually started out on Hurdle, um, where let's see if this thing turns with me. So I started walking in 19, going up on about 4.5 years, and every once in a while I'd pull out my camera and like, I didn't really feel like pointing the camera at my beautiful face. I just shot the street and so on, and made a few comments, and had some fun, and eventually I bought the selfie stick, which is actually a very good one. I'll upgrade at some point, but I'm happy with it. And that's kind of how I started I accidentally started this walking podcast, but I love it because I have so much more energy, and people get to see kind of a moving background. I think it's more interesting. I mean, I stare at a lot of very boring backgrounds that people have, and sometimes, no offense, but sometimes people don't take care to. I mean, when I had a little studio in the basement, at least I had like a couple of posters of my books. It was sort of I hope, a visually interesting platform. But some people they don't really take care to make sure that people are looking at something interesting. But but in any event, the other reason I mentioned Hurdle Avenue is that I'm in a city. I'm in a large city, and it's a city that I haven't checked the crime statistics, but statistically, Buffalo is considered to be a high crime city. But uh, in my neighborhood, it's very safe. Now, watch me get mugged, and then everybody can have the last laugh. But the point I make, and I make this point often because I'll make it until we win the argument. Uh, America is not, and this is speaking of my next book. I'll get into the GOP scorecard in a minute, but the book I'm working on at the moment, although I haven't made any progress on it in the last week or so, but oh my God, marijuana smell. Let me just say parenthetically, if you're smoking marijuana every day and you're wondering why it hasn't happened for you, I don't want to hear any complaints, please. I just don't. But the book I'm working on at the moment is a book that I hope will end it will end the debate over gun control. And again, I have to remind people that I don't mean to say that we're going to win the fight. I say we're going to win the debate, because the debate has to do with facts and logic and statistics, and that debate will be over. So in the book, oh good, I got somebody watching on Twitter, one of my friends. Excellent. Appreciate the support. So the gun control movement is a set of a long list, not a set, a long list of lies, big lies, medium lies, and small lies. But it's basically two big lies. And guess what? The book will refute the two big lies using statistics that are compiled, that are a summary or a reconfiguration of well-known existing statistics that cannot really be denied. And um, there's really two statistics, but the one statistic kind of flows into the other. It's going to be one big final statistic, and that will be the end of the gun control debate in America. And it would be great if some of the gun groups would throw me a couple $100,000 grant, but I know that's not going to happen. Everything I do, I have to do the hard way. As Woody Allen used to say, or not Woody Allen, that's funny, Woody Hayes. I saw Woody Allen play once as a hoot at Michael's Pub in the Upper East Side. But I'm talking Woody Hayes, the long deceased football coach at Ohio. But he described his philosophy, or people described his offensive approach: 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So that's basically me. I'm coming up the middle, and I'm just going to beat you at the line of scrimmage. So very little help, very little funding, but in any event, I don't need it. I'm fine. Look at how well I'm doing without anybody's help. So number one fallacy, which is really shown, I think, by my walk down Hurdle Avenue at whatever the hell time it is, 1 a.m. In a high crime city. But crime is localized. That's the fallacy that I like to point out to people. So number one, the number one perpetrator of violence, gun violence against innocent people in the United States is the government. And number two, and I'm putting stats on that. Nobody did it before, and I'm going to do it. I already did it in the speech at PorkFest, which is online, but I'm going to put it in book form. So, and number two, the number two myth that I will explode. In other words, the first myth is that America's a very violent place because private citizens have guns. Bullshit. America's a violent place because the government has guns, and they goddamn well use them all the fucking time, to the point where I think I can plausibly maintain that the government commits trillions of acts of violence against Americans each fucking year. I love that. I love statistics. I have loved statistics since I was a young boy, when I used to memorize baseball statistics. Ty Cobb, 367 lifetime average. The other day, son Will ran into a old friend from St. Joe's, and wearing a St. Joe's hat, by the way, going to their alumni group cocktail party tomorrow. And I said, "Oh yeah, his younger brother was on the football team with me, and the first day of practice, he ran a 3:15 mile, which is amazing for a guy who wasn't a track guy. He wasn't even a runner." So I love numbers. I think they do clarify things. So the second stat is that this notion that the United States is a uniquely violent country is total bullshit. It's not. The United States is a relatively safe country, and my book will prove it, and then the rest will be a public relations mop-up job. Hopefully I'll get on some. I'm putting together a national press list, by the way. What a lot of people don't understand, because I've been in this game so long that new people come in and the old people leave. And frankly, many of the people I worked with, I've been doing this so long, a lot of the people I worked with are deceased. But years ago, I was in the national media. I was in the international media, actually, pretty frequently. And so I kind of lost touch with that. You know, you raise a family, you get busy, you coach youth sports, which I deliberately chose to do, by the way, because I got frustrated with politics in Buffalo. I said, fuck this. I'm just going to coach my kids in sports. I'll accomplish something valuable. And I did. They both were good athletes and perform. And let's see here. Sorry. They were in multiple sports and performed very well. You don't regret a second of it. So, but you know, now the kids are older. I'm out of the house and jobs and so on, and I'm getting back into it. So I'm putting together a national press list. So I'm hoping that some of these ideas will go beyond Buffalo and social media and my books on Amazon, and get into, you know, the sympathetic press, like Bannon and Tucker Carlson, people of that ilk. Establishment conservatives will not have me on. They're too much of a threat, and you know, I think they're controlled opposition anyway. So the second stat is the United States is not a uniquely violent country. It's actually a relatively safe country. It just depends on how you define. Well, it doesn't depend on how you define violence. What it depends on is whether you're including all the violence. And the gun control people, you'll notice that the gun control people, they don't talk about violence in their statistics. They talk about gun violence. Well, in societies that don't have as many guns as we do, there's still a tremendous amount of violence. It's just not with firearms. It's like, stop, you know, like I'm a professional bullshit detector, so I see all these lies, and I have exposed them, and I will continue to expose them in the book. But again, the point I like to make is, if America, and I hope there's some people, I know I have a few people from overseas who listen to my podcast. If you're in another country, you probably think any 66-year-old man out on the street and in a high crime city at 1 a.m. is taking his life in his hands. But in all honesty, there's nobody on the street. There's no street crime, and very little street crime in my neighborhood. So the crime, you say, well, yeah, but what about all the violence? Well, that's inner city drug gangs, and lot of people don't understand this. Some people say, well, the drug war is racist. It's racist in effect. There's no question about that. The reason why drug dealing is focused on the inner city is because to be a drug dealer, you have to take a lot of risks, and you have to weigh those risks against your other options. And in the neighborhood I grew up in, we had other options, and we didn't take those risks. So that's why drug violence is focused on the inner city. Let's get this right, okay? And I've been studying this issue for 40 years. I understand it extremely well. Written, 15 articles on the war on drugs, the longest of which was a 95-page law review article with like hundreds of footnotes, written shorter ones. I wrote a law review article for Notre Dame that Bill Buckley appreciated and mentioned on his show once. He called me Professor Ostrowski. So I've been studying the fucking drug issue. Don't even try to debate me on the war on drugs, please. Come loaded for bear. Nobody debates me on anything. I wish you did. Somebody should knock me off my high horse. Debate me, folks, on any fucking subject. There's one subject I will not debate. I won't even tell you what it is. If you ask me to debate on that, I'll just say, I'm busy. But I won't tell you I won't debate that one subject. I will debate every other subject, though. I avoided one subject for quite a while, and that subject was immigration. Because I really didn't, I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out the right libertarian position on it. And I finally did. I cracked the code of immigration. That paper is, it's now on, I put it out there for free on Scribd, and a couple hundred people read it. But it's like, I find over the years when you give something away for free, people don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate it. So you know what? If you want to read my paper on immigration, which not only solves the immigration problem, it solves a number of immigration is genetically linked to many, many other problems in the world. And so I not only solved the immigration problem, I integrated that with the issue of the right to bear arms and the lack of a right to bear arms globally. So that paper proposes that we need a global right to bear arms. Not that I'm going to impose that on some third world country, but I'm just saying that if you want to stop the flow of immigrants, and the Democratic Party, the biggest fucking phony baloney scumbags of all time. Oh, we care about the refugees. Really? I've never heard any of those people analyze why these people are coming here. Well, I have analyzed it. And I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not doing immigration today. I'm just saying I cracked that code. It's on Kindle for $3 lousy. If you want to understand the real problem, and the solution is not the wall. The solution is not building a wall. The solution is not really more border guards. No. If you want to read the solution, fess up $3 on Kindle. So at least you won't be confused and befuddled about immigration for the rest of your life, like most people are, unfortunately, including many libertarians. Many libertarians believe that the libertarian position is open borders. It's not. It's not open borders. It's not closed borders either. It's just borders isn't the way. Libertarians really don't believe in borders anyway, except private property borders. We think that all state borders are arbitrary. So why libertarians of all people would define their view on immigration? I'm going to step into the street here because I'm actually heading back home, and it's somewhat of a residential neighborhood, although it's a very wide street. Stepping into the street so I don't have to modulate my voice very much. Just got off a hurdle. Didn't get shot, didn't get mugged. Wow, amazing. So why libertarians would define their position on immigration by reference to borders doesn't make any fucking sense. So whatever, I cracked the code on immigration, as I cracked many codes. In my life, I'm about to crack the code of gun control statistics too. So just wanted, really, this is just a test broadcast, but apparently I'm feeling my oats, and I'm very talkative right now. So I hope the small number of people listening are enjoying themselves. And again, the way I promote the podcast is it's very simple. I'm not attacking anybody else. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I like podcasts. But I'll just say this. You don't get this content anywhere else in the fucking world, period. You don't get it anywhere else. And you don't get it from the most experienced operative in the liberty movement, because that's me. There is nobody else. So if you're looking for commentary about policy, politics, you name it, current events, from the most experienced operative in the liberty movement, you can't get that anywhere else by definition, because that is me. If anybody thinks that I'm exaggerating and you think there's somebody else, yeah, it could be a fun debate to have. Oh, somebody's playing some really loud music that they think I want to hear. But I do not want to hear your music. So I'm going to move over on the sidewalk here. Hopefully they will go through this light and I can resume my conversation. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm doing this live stream. It's kind of a test. Hopefully on 6 platforms. I'll check when I get back to the house. I'm supposedly on LinkedIn, but I just saw no evidence that the thing was picked up on LinkedIn. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of LinkedIn. I am on YouTube, LinkedIn, 2 Facebook accounts, and Twitter, X, and Rumble. I'm on Rumble, but I don't know if I don't even know how to prove that I'm going to walk in the street again. It's getting really quiet here. Lower my voice so I don't wake people up. I'm like that car who didn't really give a flying fuck about other human beings, but I guess that's the way they were raised. People are, a lot of the way people are, it's the parents' fault. You see a obese child, it's not their fault, it's the parents' fault, or the parent, more likely. The parent's fault, singular. So that's a whole scene there, and again, like, I don't want to get into the crime issue. I already talked about it many times. I wrote an essay after the Rodney King riots explaining what the problem is in the inner city, and it hasn't changed. It's the synergistic effect of about 5 big failed progressive, small p progressive policies, mainly war on drugs, government schools, welfare, and the overregulation and overtaxation of the economy. That's your big problem in the inner city. That they don't want to admit, because progressives can never admit that they're fucking wrong, because progressivism is not an argument. It's not a set of rational ideas. Progressivism is a form of emotional therapy. Progressivism is a form of therapy. I cracked that code too. That book should have sold like 50,000 copies at least. It sold 12,000. I wasn't that far off the mark, but it should sell. Every high school graduate should get a copy of Progressivism. Ooh, that guy went right through the red light. More obnoxious music. Love it. Yeah, I don't want to hear your fucking music, guy or gal. I want to hear my own music. So, yeah, if every high school graduate got a copy of Progressivism, if they either didn't go to college, they would understand politics. If they did go to college, they'd be immune from all the bullshit they were going to learn in left-wing school. So let me just talk talk about GOP scorecard. That's coming up. This is really what this whole program was to promote that. I haven't even mentioned it. So on January 1st, I'm rolling out GOPscorecard.com. I'm putting all these live streams together at 2 o'clock. Probably most of you are listening on Facebook, so it'll obviously be on Facebook. And we'll go through the whole point of the scorecard, the history of the Republican Party, how the GOP is a fraud scheme. I'm really hoping to take down the Republican Party. Wouldn't that be fun? Or wake them up or do something better than what they're doing, because they fuck the country. I mean, obviously the Democrats have fucked the country, but that's their job. The job of the Democrats is to fuck the country. The job of the Republicans is to stop them, and they haven't stopped them. They've been like a bullfighter. Just Olay, here, go through my red. Whatever the hell they call that thing. I don't know what they call it. I don't speak Spanish. I took French, not Spanish. So that's going to be 2 o'clock on January 1st. Nothing is going on at 2 o'clock on January 1st. You might be at a very boring family event. Just pull out your cell phone discreetly and listen in, put the earbuds on or whatever you have. I personally never put anything in my ear or on my ear. But everybody's different. It's just it's how I roll. And then at 3 o'clock, and all before the, we're right through the red line. At 3 o'clock on the 1st, we're going to shift over to Twitter Spaces. And I've been notoriously unsuccessful there, but I'm going to keep plugging away until if I could just get 5 or 10 people on the space sharing it around, I could probably build up a pretty decent audience. Because one of the things that I bring to the table, I could talk for 3 hours. If people want to stay on and talk, I'll just do it. Particularly if I have other people commenting, I could go for 5 hours, as long as I just didn't need a bathroom break. Although don't ask Vivek about that. So I hate to bring that up. So that's about it. I'm going to shut this down. I can't really see feedback on this Restream. I don't know how that's going to work. I suppose I'm going to be on the laptop, and I'll use my cell to see if I can read any comments. Again, if there's a better software than Restream, let me know. Glad to hear it. This is what I'm going with for the 1st. I don't even know what day the 1st is. That's why I keep saying the 1st. So share it around. There's a Facebook event on this if you want to share that around so people can listen in. What else are you doing at 2 o'clock on the 1st? Come on, give me a break. You're just sitting there watching TV, some stupid movie. So check it out. So it looks like I'm a couple blocks from my house. I just finished a 4-mile walk through a high crime city and with no weapon. And wow, I made it. It's amazing. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big fucking lie. America is a safe country with certain high crime neighborhoods. Which neighborhoods? The neighborhoods that the Great Society was going to help in 55 years ago. Massive fucking failure. Massive failure. And they will never admit it because they're cold, callous, evil bastards. On that note, have a